Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Ape Escape 2. In the last part we started off the game, and now it's time for stage 4!
Woohoo!
Jimmy, I'm sending this gadget to you. You can run at lightning speed with the super hoop. A bit of training in the gadget trainer, and you'll be as fast as the wind. Do you want to go to the gadget trainer now?
Thank you, Natalie.
Outside of the net, time for one of the few items that seldom leaves my quick selection up there at the top right, the super hoop. Rotate the analog stick really quickly and your speed becomes basically like tripled, it feels like. And you will become a human battering ram able to just knock into enemies. It's not as accurate as using the stun club, but you'll be seeing me just spam the hell out of this to just move quickly moving forward. It's also very useful in something we're going to be talking about towards the end of the LP in the time trials, but we'll save that topic for then.
I wonder if that makes Jimmy pretty dizzy.
Definitely would make me motion sick. Ugh.
Ugh. And of course, as tutorials go, when you get a new gadget, the stage after usually requires you to use it.
Yeah, or at least has monkeys that are going to make you have to get used to using it.
Mm-hmm.
By and large, every Ape Escape 2 stage is going to have at least one monkey, usually like 3+, that you're not going to be able to grab, though. Either because you need a later tool to get them, or there's just more monkeys than you need to catch for the par for the main story. Don't worry about that for now. There are some you can backtrack in order to get very early on. I'm going to be grabbing all the excess monkeys for later on in the LP, because like Ape Escape 1, this is a 100% run. I'm getting everything that's required to get a 100% on the save file. But meet my least favorite monkey type in the game, the blue short monkeys that move really quickly. Because like Ape Escape 1, you can generally tell how a monkey is going to act based off what their pants are. Yellow monkeys are pretty aloof, not much to write home about. Red monkeys are super aggro. They will outwardly attack you once they spot you. Blues will run away from you like this. Lighter blues are kind of more apathetic and will just kind of accept things. I forget, are there other ones in this one, or am I just thinking of 3?
I believe there are a couple more.
Are the greens in this one?
I think so, and I think there's like white ones too, but those are more like end stage.
Yeah, and you can get a good look, maybe. That's actually another reason why I want to use the monkey radar, because you can see what color of pants a monkey's wearing to guess what their behavior is going to be from there. Maybe get a look at their environment to see how they might interact with it. But there are some monkeys that have unique costumes that are sort of just unique in behavior. They just do a specific thing in that monkey's case. Like, I think that one technically does, yeah. Ole works like a matador. You'll charge into him, and then he'll just kind of dodge out of the way last second, I think is how he works in particular. But how the stage really takes advantage of the super hoop is the super hoop, when you're moving super fast with it, allows you to climb steeper inclines than Jimmy can climb normally, allowing you to, say, walk amongst these rooftops without sliding down. This is the main reason, more so than anything, that this is probably going to be a tool that's almost always in your quick selection, if only because it means you won't have to worry about having to break the pace to pause and swap over to things.
Exactly.
Because, unfortunately, Ape Escape 2 still repeats the mistake from Ape Escape 1 from memory, where the only way you can swap your tools are by either pausing the game outright and going to the tool select, or pressing select for a shorter version of that menu. Ape Escape 3 would introduce a shorter version of that I'm very thankful it exists, and it's actually the reason it's my favorite. They also usually place monkeys in this one pretty close together, so even the larger stages go by pretty quickly until they just get long in the tooth. For now, though, it's time for our first boss.
Oh man, I forgot how quickly the bosses show up in this game.
What's this?
Well, kid, you did good making it this far. Ever hear of the Freaky Monkey 5? Well, I'm Blue Monkey. The boss has ordered me to stop you, so I'm afraid that's what I gotta do. Don't take it personal, kid. I'm doing this for all the little monkeys out there.
Oh, yeah!
Well, you're definitely not a coward, are you? Hey, kid, didn't your mama ever teach you not to cross at a red light? Well, I'll make sure you never forget. Ha! Go!
Ape Escape 2's best improvement on the whole is definitively its boss fights.
It's true. They all get, like, their own gimmick, and, they're not, like... They're actually pretty fun.
Yeah, usually they all have a weakness to the tool you got more recently, like in this case, Blue Monkey will charge at you with a shield, and you need to charge into him with your own hoop in order to break him and stun him, and then you actually hit him with your stun club. Do that enough times, and he gets knocked over. The traffic lights seem like they'd be annoying, but I think only like 2 of them actively get disabled at a time, because when the lights are flashing red, the individual like little portions of that hall will fall down when you step on them. So you can rush over them with the hoop, but it's just not recommended.
Yeah.
Blue Monkey's other attacks, though, he can throw some bombs at you, but generally he just tries to dash from one corner of the area to the next, not really trying to actively aggro or avoid you. He just sort of does what he wants.
Yeah, he's a starter boss.
Yeah.
He's a starter boss, so it's he's not really that difficult by default.
Yeah, though, Ape Escape 1, the only bosses that were real boss fights were... why can't I remember the name of Spike's buddy from 1 all of a sudden? The blue-haired kid.
Oh!
Well, him in the car,
Yeah.
Spectre's airship the stage before that, and Spectre himself. In this one, we're gonna have a boss fight every, like, 4 or 5 levels just about, and it feels so much more interesting in pacing because of it.
A neat little thing you can do, if I remember correctly anyway, is that you can take the monkey radar and you can use it on the boss monkeys.
I think you can, yeah.
Yeah, and it'll give you like some like funny little tidbit about them.
So that was the friend that Spectre was talking about.
And now we've killed him.
No, we captured him.
You're right, there's no body. He could still be alive.
So a weird thing that Ape Escape 2 and 3 did was with the Freaky Monkey 5. For some reason, they changed their names.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yeah, like here, he calls himself Blue Monkey. In Ape Escape 3, it's Monkey Blue.
Maybe that's a way of them updating the translation to be more accurate to how it flows in Japanese.
Possibly. 1999 banana. May he rest in pieces.
I love this song. Ape Escape 2's soundtrack isn't as, like, trance techno-y as Ape Escape 1's is on the whole, and it is lesser for that, I think. But it's still just got such a good energy to it. Oh yeah, there are the white pants. They throw bombs. That's right, I think they're the replacement for the greens in this one. So we might as well talk about this very early on. Depending on where you're from, or what platform you're playing this on, you might be hearing different voices come out of all the characters in the game. Like Ape Escape 1, this game got a different English dub in the US and Canada, and the UK. It's a lot more British sounding in the UK. And the version you can get on the PlayStation Network... Oh, beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Art.
Perfect. Mwah.
The version...
Kiss.
The version on the PlayStation Network is the UK version, and I think that mostly has to do with the fact that the US version and its voice actors were published by Ubisoft, weirdly. Which is weird because this is an internal Sony series.
Yeah.
But as for the voice actors we got here, we got Veronica Taylor as Jimmy, just doing her best voice that she used for Ash back in Pokemon back in the day. Also, Pipochi actually is a mechanic. If you die sometimes, they will just revive you from death with one cookie.
And also, another little thing with Pipochi, it's random, but sometimes Pippochi will fly over to something and will either have a question mark on his head or something that will let you know something's there.
Yeah, sort of like as a little, almost kind of like Navi from Ocarina, I guess?
A little bit, yeah. Except it's like, I don't think there's really... I think it's really random with Pippochi, because as far as I remember, they did not do it every time.
Yeah, I don't think they do. Other voice actors in the game, Natalie is Rachel Lillis, who was Misty in Pokemon, just outright. The professor is Dan Green, who is Knuckles for 4Kids, as well as Yugi for all of the classic Yu-Gi-Oh! Spectre is Yusei Fudo from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, which also makes him Tristan Taylor from the original Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yep. It wouldn't surprise me if, like, the reason they specifically chose these voice actors is because of the gotta catch all the monkeys aspect.
That's an aspect of it, and I also wonder if maybe just Ubisoft was working with the studio they maybe worked with at the time anyway.
It's possible.
I'd have to look at what else they released at that time, because the first time I distinctly remember hearing Ubisoft's name, outside of seeing it on the box art of this at the Blockbuster, I think it was when my cousin first got into Assassin's Creed. Ooh, the comic strips, these are great.
They really are.
Splish splash. Whoa, the room's spinning. How can you stand these glasses? How do you see? Ah! The game's got such a good sense of humor with stuff like that.
It really does.
Something to keep a note about getting money is there is a bit of a money combo system where after you grab 5 yellow chips or coins, the nearby ones all upgrade to silvers, and if you grab all those, all the nearby ones grab to golds. And the further you keep that going, the longer they'll stay gold. So you can build up some money pretty quickly, but there's only really one stage you can really take advantage of that in, and we'll be talking about that later on in the LP.
Yeah, so it's like if you want to unlock a bunch of stuff really quickly, that's something to keep in mind.
6 monkeys. We're starting to get to the point where they're getting a little beefier with the numbers.
I do wonder, the rest of the stage enemies aside from the monkeys, like the little pig and stuff, who made those?
White monkey?
I guess.
He is very much the scientist for the set.
True.
Oh yeah, that's another thing Pikachu can do. Yeah, like I guess there's the thing right there you were talking about. Like if there's a monkey nearby, you can't immediately see it, and you don't have the radar equipped. He will hint that they're there. Not that it's the most specific hinting.
Yeah. Yeah, it just feels like, as far as I remember, Pippochi did not do that every time, and it was just maybe there's like a timing to it. I'm not sure.
Timing, or maybe it's like, ow.
No use.
Save me, monkey. Oh, no.
Pippochi, no!
It could also be a little bit of like a weird version of the reactive difficulty, dynamic difficulty thing from Resident Evil, where maybe the game's like, you've been in here for a while. Maybe we'll hint you in the right direction.
True.
Kind of a weird thing, though. If you do decide to pick this game up on PSN, which, even though it's the only way to play the game nowadays, I don't think is the best way to play it. I think the PS2 version is the best way to play it overall. Be careful, because the PAL version, since it is the UK dub available on there, runs at 50 hertz, thus 50 frames a second, which this game kind of predicates itself a lot on using all 60 frames of input to feel comfortable, so it doesn't feel the best. But unfortunately, at least there's a version of it available, because Ape Escape 3 was never re-released.
No, it wasn't.
And I want to say a good part of that's because of the Konami crossover stuff in it.
Yeah, it's possible, but it's a shame though. It's a shame because like this series is a lot of fun, and it's a shame that it's not as accessible these days.
It's probably my favorite Sony first-party series, period, from the era.
Every time Sony has, like, a direct of some kind, I'm just, like, always hoping.
Please. Please give me Monkey.
Please, more Ape Escape. I'm begging.
But now we got another little new thing. We got Pikachu mechs that you can control over here and there. There's not many times you use these in the game, but they more or less control the same, just that whenever you tilt the analog stick now, you do a giant swing with the shaker that does inflict massive damage. Not that there's a lot of enemies in this game that take multiple hits.
But it's useful for destroying a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Ape Escape 2 definitely keeps the level variety a little more interesting than Ape Escape 1 does, because Ape Escape 1, due to its time-traveling concept, is a lot of, here's the ancient era, here's the other ancient era, oh, here's more dinosaurs, and then, like, here's a castle, here's a Japanese castle. This game keeps things a little more fresh on the whole. The game gets a little more out there.
I think that's kind of why 3 is my favorite as well, because, well, spoilers for the third game. They're all based on television and movies.
Yeah, like specific genres, parodying certain specific things. It's just so much variety.
Yeah, and it makes it a lot of fun. And it's like, not that Ape Escape 2 isn't fun. It's just like, I just thought that was a really neat concept at the time.
Yeah, I still think it is to this day, because I'll lead more into this with this exact thought when we get to our real thoughts, full thoughts on the game and the credits. This game is better than Ape Escape 1, but I think Ape Escape 1 is easier to go back to in a weird way.
Yeah. Because it's like, I feel like these games, they added like so many more secrets.
Yeah, oh, especially
and
3.
So, like, it's like, did Ape Escape 1 have the same thing where you had to catch a certain number of monkeys, but then you could go back to the stages?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
A really annoying thing 1 did with that admittedly 2 gets better with, as we'll see later on. There were a lot of stages in 1 where you could catch all but 1 monkey, because they wanted you to get the last tool to go back for a second round to get the last monkeys.
I see. A monkey fable.
The Monkey Village Part 2. One day as winter was drawing near, the monkeys harvested the necessary supply of bananas to tide over them the winter months. Just then Spectre arrived and told them that he would sing for them as their reward. His singing was as bad as his character, but the monkeys, exhausted from work and glad to be finished, were easily drawn in and were glad to join in the party. To be continued.
I will sing the sounds of my people. Ah!
DK! The party lasted for 3 days and 3 nights. As the party reached its end, the monkeys noticed the first flakes of snow fall. It was winter. All they had left was one single banana, just one. Snow had begun falling. How would the monkey village get through this winter? Would they survive? No. The end.
So, moral of the story, kids.
Keep supplies.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is, if memory serves, when I fully recorded the LP and did the bass editing, this LP was closer to like 20 parts plus long, and there were some parts there was like 5 minutes plus in a row of just opening the gacha stuff. So that's why I end up eventually just start cutting out this stuff, because I didn't want us to just kind of go on for 20 minutes in a row of just talking like fables and all that. Our story takes place on a hot summer's day in a monkey village. This village had thus survived by selling milk of the cows, but the cows had recently ceased to produce milk. After much debate, the monkeys decided they had no choice but to sell the cows. A monkey named Jack was charged with the tasking of herding the cows to town to sell them, and on his way he happened upon an old professor. Eddie Murphy!
Not that, Professor.
Aww. I miss him in movies. He's so entranced.
He loves that little AC car.
But with that, we're gonna need to end this off here.
The bailiffs may visit you at your house.
Uh-oh. Run! It's the fuzz! Ow! With that, we're gonna need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 3, more stages!
Woohoo! More monkeys!
Monkey! You guys then.